let's start by telling you former Nigerian Vice President Atiku Abubakar is back in the news this week, and he is still talking about the controversial Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project. We have to say it right because the toll ground 0.0 is in Lagos, the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project. But this time, the former Nigerian president and former presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party is accusing the man sitting to his left on your screen, Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, his friend, of conflict of interest regarding this project. Now, that's a heavy allegation, conflict of interest. Specifically, Abubakar is alleging that Seyi Tinubu, son of the Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, has a position, a seat. Now, that's the man you're seeing on your screen. He has a seat on the board of a company owned by the same group that owns the construction company executing the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. Now, I know it's a bit confusing, all right, but we'll break this down in a moment. Now, Abubakar said in a statement he released, quote, Seyi is a director on the board of CDK Integrated Industries, a subsidiary of the Chagoury Group, which manufactures ceramic tiles and sanitary towels, end of quote. All right, of course, the Chagoury Group also owns High-Tech Construction. The company awarded the construction contract for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, and among other government contracts. Now, Atiku Abubakar is crediting a report published by Africa Intelligence, a Paris-based publication. This was published on April 25, 2024, titled Tinubu Family and Billionaire Gilbert Chagoury Cement Ties. No pun intended, I'm sure, because I know that they're going to use some cement for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road. You can see an excerpt of that article by Africa Intelligence on your screen. Now, the publication said, quote, the president's son, Seyi Tinubu, was recently appointed a director of a subsidiary of Chagoury Group, marking another step in the return to favor of its Lebanese-Nigerian owner, end of quote. Now, Atiku pointed out in that statement that the demolition of tourism infrastructure on the Oniru Beach axis in Lagos for this project, without what he calls ample notice, is one of the reasons why foreign direct investments continue to, in Atiku's words, elude the country. Now, what's the Nigerian government saying? Of course, they are expected to respond, and they did. Now, in the Nigerian government's response, it says that Atiku Abubakar is fast developing a reputation for distorting and manipulating facts for his self-serving objective of discrediting the current administration. I'm quoting that statement. Now, presidential spokesperson Bayo Nanaga, who signed it on behalf of the Nigerian government, says, quote, that contrary to Atiku's claim on foreign direct investment, the Tinubu administration within its first year has attracted over 20 billion United States dollars into the Nigerian economy. Nanaga says that while President Tinubu was in New Delhi in India for the G20 summit last year, in August, you remember that one, Indian business leaders committed over 14 billion US dollars in new investments. He says a substantial part of this sum is already in the country. We'll try to find that out. And that the economic reforms being executed by the Tinubu administration has seen foreign investment in Nigeria's stock market balloon, Onanaga's words, from 18.12 billion naira in Q1 2023 to 93.37 billion naira in Q1 2024, an increase of 415%, what Onanaga calls a vote of confidence in the economic policies of Bola Tinubu. Now, there are two issues here. Number one, are President Tinubu's actions on the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road project serving as a red flag to foreign direct investment in Nigeria? That's number one. Number two, is there a conflict of interest in the Tinubu administration awarding the contract for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, a project to High-Tech Construction, a company owned by the Chagoury Group, in whose subsidiary the president's son is said to be a board member? All right, now, who is Gilbert Chagoury? We'll try to go into this as time permits us, but I want to introduce our guests. We have two guests, and we'll take them one after the other. Our first guest, of course, is Paul Ibe, who's a media advisor to Atiku Abubakar. And of course, he's Atiku Abubakar is a PDP presidential candidate. He's joined us via video link from Abuja. We also have Adebayo Shittu, who is Nigeria's former Minister of Communication. Also, he's in Abuja. Let's start by bringing in Mazi Paul Ibe. Mazi, good evening to you. It's good to have you on the program tonight. Good evening. It's my pleasure. All right. Mr. President's actions regarding the Coastal Highway project, his actions serving as a red flag to foreign direct investment in Nigeria?
You know, the truth is that whatever we do, you know, locally has international, you know, implications. Because investors from wherever they are watching what is going on, you know, at home. The truth of the matter is that this project, from the beginning, was bettered in fraud. From a PPP, it manifested to an EPC. We were told that government will spend zero money on this project. And, you know, by some stroke of, 360 ton, it became an EPC project. It was awarded to high-tech on the basis that it has, requisite experience. The truth is that high-tech has handled a project of about 40 or less than 50 kilometers in Lagos over a period of 10 years or more. It is still grappling with that project.
Which project are you talking about? Just so that we don't miss it. Mazi Ibe, which project are you talking about?
Yes. Hello?
Yes, which project are you referring to?
The project at the Lekki Road. They have been on that project for more than 10 years. So if that is the experience that they are touted, it means that this project, we failed even from the beginning. It didn't follow due process. There was no competitive bidding. Even if there was a recourse to EPC, it was given to high-tech, owned by Chagoury, on account of his personal relationship to Tinubu. And to worsen the situation, his son, Seyi, a non-actor in this government, who has been parading himself all over the place, like what happened in Doha, where the Minister of Foreign Affairs, in breach of protocol, was put, in the reception party after Seyi and his brother. So what are we talking about? This project is founded on fraud. The objective is only the 47 kilometers linking Eko Atlantic City and the Lekki Deep Sea Port. This is what this is all about. So if this is not nepotism, I wonder what definition of nepotism is.
All right, but this is a 700-kilometer road that is sent to go all the way to Calabar. But you're saying that this is a fraudulent project, and it's only meant to benefit the Eko Atlantic City, which is a project also owned by the, majorly by the Chagoury Group, and we'll go into that as time goes on. This is a 700-kilometer project going all the way to Calabar in Cross River State. But you are here claiming, Mazi Ibe, that it will stop at the Lekki Deep Sea Port. What is your evidence to this allegation or claim you're making?
Listen, 500 million naira was budgeted for this project, and over 1 trillion naira has been paid to Chagoury. the high-tech. The truth of the matter is that what they are doing now is after the fact. There was no environmental impact assessment report. There was no right of way. It is only after they have started the project they are trying to secure a right of way and get an environmental impact assessment. I mean, these are clear breach of Public Procurement Act. If there is a project to be given, there must be a competitive bidding. High-tech does not qualify for an exemption.
But Mr. Ibe, the Minister of Works, Senator David Mai, has said, that it is not every project that is meant to go through competitive bidding, that the federal government is able to award contracts to companies on account of their experience, their expertise, and their integrity in handling such projects, which high-tech is said to have demonstrated, especially in the use of the technology of concrete to build durable roads in Nigeria. An example is, of course, the Bagada to Apapa Expressway, which high-tech is said to have participated in, the one that was undertaken by Dangote Group. Sir.
That does not qualify high-tech for an exemption. Like I said, high-tech does not have the capacity. What are the projects that it has handled in Nigeria? It has not handled a project of a 50 kilometer. We're talking about 700 kilometers, stretching from Lagos to Calabar, with all of the challenges that come up with the Niger Delta creeks. It doesn't have that capacity. It doesn't qualify for an exception. I beg to disagree with the Honorable Minister.
Mazi Umahi, high-tech, is also said to have, participated in what was done at the Eco Atlantic City, former Bar Beach, in terms of land reclamation, shore protection, and all that, where a portion of Lagos State, Victoria Island, that was perennially overrun with water from the Atlantic Ocean, from the Gulf of Guinea, now has been, rescued from that experience, and it's a thing of the past. Is that not part of the experience that it can rely on, constructing this project even to areas of the Niger Delta where they have to traverse the creeks and the rivers?
How long is that, the Bar Beach project? How many kilometers?
I don't have that information handy, but I'm sure we all know Bar Beach.
Let's assume it is 50 kilometers.
All right.
That's not a qualification for an exemption. 700 kilometers through the Niger Delta presents huge, construction challenge. I mean, we've had companies like Julius Berger that have reputation and capacity, that have handled projects in this country. Why was this project not put out for competitive bidding? We don't have the resources. It is likely we're going to borrow the money. So why didn't we bid to allow international construction firms to bid and bring in resources, much needed resources? But the reason, of course, is that they are settled on Chagoury. They needed to reward him for their, for the relationship that they have. Mm. That's what it's all about. And people are missing the point. We don't have, His Excellency Atiku Abubakar does not have a problem with a genuine project that will bring about infrastructure development, open up the economy, create jobs. He doesn't have a problem with that. What we have a problem with, that even as well-meaning as you are, such a project must follow due process.
Okay, I want to ask you.
This project.
Yes, I want to ask you, Mazi.
Did not follow due process.
Yes, I want to ask you. Works Minister David Mai has challenged Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, your principal, to provide the breakdown of the cost of this project. And he later came out to do that. That's talking about the Minister of Works. And it was made clear that Atiku Abubakar got his facts wrong regarding the cost of the project. So how can we rely on anything Atiku Abubakar says about the Lagos-Calabar Coastal project?
We are not talking about the cost of the project, which we are told is about 15.6 trillion. That's not what we're talking about.
No, but Atiku got his facts wrong. The first time he tweeted about this, he made allegations and claims that were not correct. So how can we rely on anything Atiku Abubakar says going forward?
Don't forget that this project, until Atiku Abubakar raised his alert, was shrouded in secrecy. Nobody knew anything about it. The cost, the processes, it was only known to them.
Okay, Mazi, is this not a situation of a kettle calling a pot black? I'm talking about Atiku Abubakar's handling of the privatization process in Nigeria. Mazi, can I land, please? Let me land.
Don't go there.
Especially with the Bureau of Public Enterprises. If he's talking about Tinubu chasing away foreign direct investment into... Mazi, can I ask my question, please? I know you're a media man. Please, can I land? You have your time to answer. If Atiku Abubakar is talking about Bola Tinubu, you know, making it difficult for foreign direct investment into Nigeria by what is happening with Landmark and other businesses there, can it also be said that Atiku Abubakar also may have brought a negative effect to the Nigerian economy and thereby even chasing away foreign direct investment by the role he played in the privatization process when he was vice president in 1999? Sir.
The government that Atiku Abubakar served as vice president has had the greatest growth in economic development in the last 25 years or thereabout. They created more jobs, had a GDP at some point about 15%. So what are we talking about? The telecom sector was opened up by the Atiku Abubakar administration. So why are you comparing apples and oranges? The Tinubu administration is busy destroying jobs.
No, but Mazi, Atiku has been accused. Atiku Abubakar has been accused of privatizing. Yeah, no, we're talking about conflict of Mazi. Sorry to interject here, but you're talking about conflict of interest.
And they have to take it back.
Mazi, you're talking about conflict of interest. You're also talking about foreign direct investment, and some would make the argument. Some will make the argument that Atiku Abubakar himself exercised the clearest example of the practice of conflict of interest when he used his position allegedly as vice president to influence, for personal gain, the privatization of state industries and state corporations in Nigeria when he was vice president and head of the Nigerian economy.
When Atiku Abubakar was vice president and was running the privatization council, which outcome of their work was subject to the approval of the president, Atiku Abubakar never used his position to advance his interest. The records are there. Let's leave out the politics. And that is not a justification for why the Bola Tinubu administration will filter away Nigerian resources at a time when people are hard-pressed, when hunger is rife, when poverty is rife. We have an energy crisis. I mean, let's say.
So Mazi, did Atiku Abubakar benefit in any way from the privatization?
He did not benefit in any way.
In no single way?
Atiku Abubakar benefited in any way. Subsequent administrations, including the APC administration of Muhammadu Buhari, will have brought him to book.
Okay. Okay, Mazi, we won't go on the break. We'll come back, and for those of you watching at home, we'll continue the conversation. Of course, Adebayo Shittu is Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Minister of Communications. He will join us next up. Welcome back. You're still watching Politics HQ right here on News Central Television. We've been speaking with Paul Ibe, his media aide to Nigeria's former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and of course we're looking at allegations made in a statement by the former Nigerian Vice President and former presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the last general elections in 2023, where Atiku has referred to an article by Africa Intelligence, a Paris-based publication, which has claimed that the son of the Nigerian President Bola Tinubu, this time Seyi Tinubu, is on the board of a group or a company owned by the company or the group that owns the same company that was awarded the contract for the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project, the Chagoury Group, which owns high-tech construction company. Well, we're asking the two very important points that Atiku's statement has raised. Number one, the effect of the project on foreign direct investment, and number two, conflict of interest. Now, joining us to provide some balance to this conversation is former Nigerian Communications Minister Adebayo Shittu. He joins us via video link from the Nigerian Federal Capital, Abuja. Mr. Shittu, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time. Would you agree that President Tinubu's actions regarding this Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project are chasing away foreign direct investment from Nigeria?
Well, the thing is breaking, but I hope I will be able to answer you in regard to the exact questions. You are asking me what do I make of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road, which is being embarked upon by the Tinubu administration.
Yes, Mr. Shittu, specifically asking you if you agree that the project would chase away foreign direct investment from Nigeria, or will be a red flag to,
I don't know. I mean, that statement does not make sense. With due respect to the person who is said to have made that statement. A project of that, gargantuan nature would certainly link up various coastal communities across the length and breadth of Nigeria, particularly southern Nigeria. You will recall that we have Lagos Port, we have Warri Port, we have, Port Harcourt ports, we have Calabar Port and all of that. If we have such a mighty project that will link all of this together, definitely people who make imports, particularly of goods and services, would have easy access to all parts of southern Nigeria. So I don't see in what way it will drive away foreign direct investment when they know that accessibility will be enhanced, particularly within the southern part of this country. People making the claim that it will drive away foreign direct investment perhaps have forgotten that Nigeria is the biggest economy in Africa, particularly in regard to the population, the land mass, and the economic activities going on, all over. So I have not seen in what way, they have not proven.
Mr. Shittu, Atiku Abubakar is talking about the fact, from what I can read from his statement. Yes, Mr. Shittu, if you can hear me, yeah, what Atiku seems to be saying is that any foreign investor who sees that such an enormous investment of $200 million on the landmark back axis of the Oniru Beach, and indeed from the Oniru Beach point where you have Moist Beach all the way to the end, the investment will be more than $200 million. If a foreign investor sees that that is being demolished, as Atiku says, with almost no prior notice, it seems that that will discourage the investors from coming into Nigeria with their hard-earned money?
Well, such allegations are not evidence-based. Certainly, they are not evidence-based. This will be the largest road project in Nigeria. And for me, if you look at, the current challenges that we have with the road network from Lagos to Calabar, the entire southern stretch of Nigeria, you know that certainly this new road would certainly enhance economic activity, it will enhance transportation, it will enhance the transfer of goods and services all across southern Nigeria.
Okay, what do you make of the allegations of conflict of interest that's been revealed that Seyi Tinubu is on the board of a company owned by the Chagoury Group, which also owns high-tech construction? I won't bore you with the details. Over to you.
Seyi Tinubu, the fact is that Seyi Tinubu or any other person close to Mr. President is a Nigerian, and there is no way that, and there's no law which prevents relations of Mr. President from bidding and from, doing business with the federal government. What is important is once government takes, care of all, necessities in terms of the quality of job, the cost of the job, and all of that, I don't see in what way Seyi Tinubu or any other person for that matter will be disqualified from doing business or from engaging in business with the federal government.
Mr. Shittu, you're a former minister of the Federal Republic. I like to believe that in your time as minister, you had to submit your financial details or records to the Code of Conduct Bureau. You said there is no law, but in the Nigerian Constitution, there is something called the Code of Conduct for Public Officers. And this is contained, if I'm not mistaken, in the 5th schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended. So when you say there is no law that talks about conflict of interest of persons in government, is that the case?
Well, let me say with apology that your questions are breaking. I'm not hearing them in full, so I only hazard a guess to say that there's no doubt there is the issue of conflict of interest. But again, I think that, there could be issues of conflict of interest. But what is important also, more importantly, is the fact that every Nigerian has a right to do business with, government. And anybody who would claim the possibility of conflict of interest would have to show in what way the relationship has affected the quality, the cost of the job, and the quality of performance of the said job.
All right. Okay. Adebayo Shittu, we'll come back to that. I'll try to ask my question slowly so you can hear me next time, because I'm not going to leave that question yet. You have to answer it. We'll take a break. When we come back right here on Politics HQ, we'll have more conversations. Please stay with us. Welcome back. We're now wasting time. I want to go back to Adebayo Shittu, former Minister of Communications, so that he can answer my question specifically. Mr. Shittu, can you hear me, please? Okay, well, it seems the session is not ready. I don't know if we have Mazi Ibe with us. Do we have Mazi Ibe with us? Okay. Mr. Shittu, if you can hear me, I want to go back to you. The 5th schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, is clear. It specifically talks about the Code of Conduct for Public Officers. And then Part 1 of that 5th schedule is what I'm referring to. The first section of Part 1, for the first section of the entire 5th schedule, says, and I quote, "A public officer shall not put himself in a position where his personal interests conflict with his duties and responsibilities," is what it says. There's a lot that goes on there. So I was going to ask him, and I don't know if Mr. Shittu is ready for us. Okay, Adebayo Shittu, can you hear me, please? All right. All right, we'll try to get back to the minister shortly. Sorry about that, but it happens with the technology and all that. There are a lot of issues regarding and surrounding this whole scenario. While we're waiting for Mr. Shittu to be ready, I just want to go back to the Chagoury's, because you might ask, who is Gilbert, or Gilbert Chagoury, depending on who is talking to him. Whether it's a French you say Gilbert, the Nigerian say Gilbert. Well, Africa Confidential describes Gilbert, or Gilbert Chagoury, as late Nigerian dictator General Sani Abacha's financial advisor, is what Africa Confidential describes him as. Late Nigerian dictator Sani Abacha's financial advisor. He's a billionaire Franco-Lebanese Nigerian businessman who held Abacha's business interests in the country, that's in Nigeria. And according to a 2008 article by Wall Street Journal, after Abacha died in 1998, the publication says Chagoury returned an estimated $300 million to the Nigerian government to secure his indemnity from possible criminal charges. I want to find out if we have Adebayo Shittu back. Okay, Adebayo Shittu, if we have you back, I'm going to go back to the question I was asking you. I don't know if you can hear me. Yes. You're a public officer, sir. You're a former public officer. As a nominee minister, I'm sure at that point you had to go to the Code of Conduct Bureau to submit your financial details. And you're aware with the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution. Now, Section 1, Part 1 of the 5th Schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, says, and I quote, "A public officer shall not put himself in a position where his personal interest conflicts with his duties and responsibilities." End of quote. Now, you've agreed that, yes, indeed, there may be some conflict of interest here. You've also admitted and said, yes, Seyi Tinubu is on the board of a company owned by the Chagoury Group, who are the recipient of this project, running into millions of dollars. So, has the Nigerian Constitution been broken by President Bola Tinubu? If it has, then surely you will want to agree that this is an impeachable action by the president.
Well, to the best of my knowledge, Seyi Tinubu is not a public officer by any stretch of the imagination in Nigeria. The fact that he has a relationship with Mr. President does not vicariously make him a public officer subject to that constitutional requirement on, a conflict of interest. Otherwise, one way or the other, we are all related, to somebody in government and so on. And then if you overstretch that definition of conflict of interest, it will mean, hordes of people will be disqualified for no fault of this.
So to the
best of my knowledge, insofar as Seyi Tinubu is not a public officer, is not occupying any position, he has an equal right as any other person to belong to the board of any company, looking to do business.
Thank you very much. Paul Ibe, what do you say to this? As President Tinubu put himself in a position where, in all of this, Paul Ibe, the president's personal interests are conflicting with his duties and responsibilities as a public officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
That's very clear. That's very clear. I mean, listen, if his son is on the board of one of the companies owned by the founder of high tech, what does that suggest? He's in a position to influence the outcome of that process. And indeed, the process was designed for Gilbert Chagoury. I mean, Onanuga has confirmed that indeed Seyi Tinubu is on the board of CDK. So what else what is the definition of a conflict of interest?
Okay, I want to go back to Adebayo Shittu. Adebayo Shittu, you've listened to what Mazi Paul Ibe has said. What's your response to that?
What did he say?
Well, he said that it is a clear position or clear case of the president putting himself in a position where the president's personal interest conflict with his duties and responsibilities, because the son has been proven or has been admitted is on the board of CDK, and that there's no way that. And he's saying, sorry, sir, and he's saying that this Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road is specifically designed. Maybe we can call it, I don't know, a special project for the Chagoury family.
Well, I mean, that's a speculation. And as far as I am concerned, we cannot rely on speculations. What is a fact is that President Tinubu is a public officer. But Seyi Tinubu, an adult and citizen of Nigeria, he not being a public officer, can bid for any job like any other Nigerian. So, you know, unless
so Adebayo Shittu, right, you are saying that the president's immediate family members can receive government contracts, and there's nothing wrong there.
Which prevents, is there any law in Nigeria which prevents relations of Mr. President or relations of a public officer from competing for jobs or from seeking to do business?
But sir, I just read to you. I just read to you. Sir, I just read to you the Code of Conduct, the Nigerian Constitution, Fifth Schedule, Part 1, where the Code of Conduct of public officers clearly states that a public officer shall not put himself in a position where his personal interests conflict with his duties and responsibilities. But please stay with us. We'll come back to you. We want to pay our bills. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Welcome back. You're watching Politics HQ. Before I go, we're done with the program. I just want to give Mr. Adebayo Shittu a chance to respond to this. I don't know if you can hear me. But Mr. Shittu, President Bola Tinubu's National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, in the year 2004, he was the head of Nigeria's anti-corruption watchdog, the EFCC. I know you remember Ribadu under Obasanjo. Now, he gave an interview in the year 2010 where he was quoted as saying that Chagoury, Gilbert Chagoury himself, was, quote, a kingpin in the corruption that defined Abacha's regime. He gave an interview where he was quoted as saying, quote, Ribadu, this is in 2010, you couldn't investigate corruption without looking at Chagoury, Ribadu said in an interview in California. He added that Chagoury made it possible for the Abacha to steal billions of dollars and line his own pockets in the process. In fact, now this report says Nuhu Ribadu tried to arrest Gilbert Chagoury in 2004, 6 years after Abacha's death. Now, the interview says, quote, Ribadu's officers stood ready to take Chagoury down at an airfield in the far northeastern corner of Nigeria. But no sooner had Chagoury's plane hit the ground than he took off again. Ribadu says it is likely that an airport official tipped him off and Ribadu's big catch slipped away literally into thin air. Now, Ribadu is National Security Advisor. How do you describe this man, Gilbert Chagoury, to whom the president or the country, Nigerian government, has business with? Is he a man of questionable character that the government should stay away from? And what should Ribadu do now that Chagoury is closer to him than in 2004?
As a lawyer, I know that everybody is presumed innocent until a court of competent jurisdiction has ruled him guilty in any specific, activity. Whatever may be the perception of EFCC or of Ribadu or whatever, if this Chagoury of a man had never been implicated and found guilty in a court of competent jurisdiction.
He actually returned money to some Abacha loot to the government. It's all over the internet. We have various sums, $66 million, $300 million. He had a deal with the Americans. He was investigated. He also had a deal with the Swiss government. Yes.
Was he charged to court, and was he found guilty?
All right. Paul Ibe, what do you say to this?
Well, there's a saying that birds of the same feather congregate together. And show me your friend, and I'll tell you who you are. If Gilbert Chagoury is a man of questionable character, allegedly, then you don't need a soothsayer to know that whoever fraternizes with him will be like playing with dogs and don't expect to be smelled with dog shit. That's the scenario.
Okay, but Chagoury himself, if I were to play the devil's advocate here, has said, you know what, that he never knew that this money he was helping Abacha save or hide in Switzerland were the proceeds of corruption. Mazibe.
Well, I mean, these are documented. You just read what the former chairman of the EFCC and now NSA said about the man. The truth of the matter is that we forget things so easily. Maybe because Mr. Nuhu Ribadu is serving in this administration. He has forgotten that the man, the country has given a contract. He's a man of questionable character. I didn't say he is. Nuhu Ribadu, as EFCC chairman, was on his trail.
All right. Do you think a probe should be launched into this? Because I asked a constitutional question regarding breach of the Constitution, particularly the Code of Conduct for Public Officers containing the fifth schedule of the CFR 1999. Do you think there should be impeachment hearings against the president to see if he's in breach of the Nigerian Constitution in this particular underword of this contract, or some sort of probe launched into the details of the contract by whoever? If that is the case, who should do that?
Let's stay within the scope of what we are trying to, to warn Nigerians against, which is that this particular project is a highway to fraud. It's a highway to nowhere. It does not meet the minimum constitutional requirement for procurement. The due process was flagrantly abused. And this particular project was designed for Gilbert Chagoury.
So who should investigate? Because but you're trying to play safe, Paul Ibe, because if what you're saying is the truth, then it's an impeachable offense by the president.
Which group, which authority will impeach him? The same Senate. But you're saying he's committing a crime here. You use the word fraud. Sorry?
Okay, let's go to Mr. Adebayo Shittu before we are done tonight. Adebayo Shittu, I see you shaking your head. Please go on and tell us what is going through your mind.
Hello?
Yeah, Adebayo Shittu, can you hear me?
Are you asking? Yeah.
Yeah, I said
Are you asking me a question, please?
Yes. I see you shaking your head, probably in disagreement to what Paul Ibe is saying. So go on, we're listening to you.
Well, you see, talk is cheap. Anybody can make allegations. But when you make allegations, your statements remain mere allegations until facts are brought out clearly. As of today, just saying that something is an impeachable offense, I mean, anybody can say anything. If you have evidence of the wrongness, if I may use that term, or of the incorrectness of it, the options are for anybody to take whatever actions he deems fit, in proof of his allegations. But as of today, insofar as Chagoury has never been convicted of any criminality, and insofar as Seyi Tinubu remains a non-public servant, I cannot see anything wrong in the said contract. My prayer is that we will all live long enough to witness the completion of that gargantuan project.
All right. Adebayo Shittu, thank you very much for your time tonight. Also want to thank Paul Ibe for his time. Adebayo Shittu, former Nigerian Minister of Communications. And Paul Ibe, media aide to former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having you on the program tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll watch this story. Of course, I'm sure the last has not been heard from Atiku Abubakar or from anybody about the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road project. My name is Kofi Bartels. We'll be back tomorrow night with more on politics.